Hi, and welcome to the Powerful Praise Broadcasting Network. We're so excited today. We're here on our television broadcast, just excited about what God is doing. There's always something great happening. I want you to give a warm, powerful praise welcome to none other than Dr. Mr. Ricky Williams from KTSU. What an honor to have him here with us today. Let's give him a warm, powerful praise welcome. Give it up for him, guys. Oh, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, my listening audience, for such a great applause.
Amen.
It's so good to see you.
It's good to be seen, Paula.
Wow, you look absolutely wonderful. I tell you, you just gave me an age that you are, and it's just absolutely unbelievable. You look so well, man.
Yeah, well, I get a lot of sleep for one thing, and I work out, do a lot of exercise, and
You work out?
and ride a bicycle.
Oh, well, that's great. That's why you look so youthful.
Yeah.
Amen. I'm so happy to have you here with us today because you are a legend in gospel music.
Thank you.
You have done such great work for gospel music in the gospel music industry. You're one that can teach me some things as I'm learning to grow
Yeah.
in this journey called gospel music.
Yeah.
Many of us, we think that we've arrived, but we have not arrived. We are ever increasing in knowledge, aren't we?
Right.
All right. So just tell us, Dr. Williams, what's going on with you, and let us know how long you've been in gospel music, what you've learned from back then to now, because so much have changed.
Well, actually, I started in R&B radio. I started at a small radio station at 3001 La Branch called KYOK. I worked for Rick Roberts and Bernard Walker for 4 years. And after they sold the radio station, I walked away from radio, didn't want to do it no more. And lo and behold, I guess maybe about 4 or 5 years later, I went back. I went by KTSU one day to check on Rick Roberts because he was my program director and mentor. And I wanted to know how he was doing. Well, he told me, he said, I'm doing fine, but I need some help with Gospel Sunday. I said, Rick, I can't play gospel music. I don't know nothing about it. He said, sure you can. You played R&B. I said, okay. So I started working there. I worked the overnight shift on Sunday night, Monday morning. I worked 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. for 12 years with no compensation. I wasn't paid. But I worked for Southwest Airlines, and I was able to buy all my own music because it's public radio, and that's what we had to do. We had to buy our own music. And I donated a whole lot of music, to the library. And after I worked for like 12 years, one day I got discouraged. And I went in to tell George Thomas that I was going to resign. I put my resignation on his desk, and he took it and threw it in the trash can. He said, I can't accept that. I need all the people I can get. He said, fill this paper out, and I'm going to start paying you.
Wow.
So that's how I started getting, getting a little money that I was getting. But I think more or less I fell in love with gospel because of the fact that when I started, I didn't know nothing but Shirley Caesar, Al Green, and the Mighty Clouds of Joy. Them
Wow.
the only 3 artists I knew anything about.
Wow.
But one day I went by to talk to Rick because I worked Sunday night, Monday morning. So one day I went by to talk to him about the gospel music, that I was doing. Well, when I played that one Sunday, he told me, he said, I got to bring you back. He said, the listeners enjoyed you. You got to come back. So I went back, and I've been there now for 34 years. If I make it to October, that'd be 35 years.
That you've been in radio?
I've been at KTSU. I've been in radio.
Wow.
I started in radio in 1978.
Wow, that's a blessing.
Yeah, and it's like almost, I guess, 41 years for me.
41 years.
Mhm.
What a blessing.
I talked to Rick, and he told me, he said, the Gospel Music Workshop was coming up. He said, you need to go to learn more about the music that you play. And I said, okay, I'll go. Paulette, I was so excited about going, I run off and left my check. I didn't have no money when I got there.
Wow.
So when I got to Salt Lake City, I seen V. Michael McKay.
My boy.
I say, V. Mike, I say, do you have a car? He said, no, why? I said, I need to go back to the airport. I don't have no money. He said, stay here. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. By staying there in Salt Lake City, I was able to see the gospel music, how they put it together, you know, how the gospel artists rehearse and go on. As a matter of fact, Kirk Franklin was just beginning to take off. He was just beginning to take off with Why We Sing. And I just had a great time. And I think my love for the music, you know, for the gospel music is more than the money, you know,
Yes.
because I look at it like this. When you do something for God, He'll make a way out of no way.
Yes, he will.
You know.
And gospel music is such an uplifting music. It's supposed to bring hope to those who are in despair, those who have gone through through their everyday walk of life. You said something very profound, that you were not in it for the money.
No.
You were in it because of the love of gospel
Right.
music. Can you tell the people how gospel music have impacted your life, and what is it that gospel music mean to you?
Well, first of all, I went through a dark period in my ministry, because when I first got called to the ministry, I thought I was going to be at this pulpit, that pulpit, you know. But God did something altogether different. He took a talent I already had and embellished it. So I would say I have a strong love because of the feeling that it gives you, you know, that,
Oh yeah, that foot
you know,
clap,
that
the
foot
hand
stomping
clap.
thing.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
then I fell in love with the quartets. I didn't know much about quartets, but the late Joe Lagon, we sit down and had the same conversation like we having right now, and we talked about the quartets and how they come along, and how back in the day they could only do gospel music on Sunday morning on the radio. That was it.
I love Joe Lagon.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite quartets group here in Houston is Endurance.
All right.
I
all
wrote
right.
a song for them called "I'm Standing."
Okay. Okay.
And they do a song with Joe Lagon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So tell us about your experience with Joe Lagon. You was telling us.
Well, Joe had got very ill,
Yes, I remember.
and he needed to have a hip replacement. Well, during that time, we sit and talk, I want to say about 6 hours one day about the quartets. He told me about the Swanee Quintet, the Williams Brothers, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QCs, the Canton Spirituals. I learned all that from Joe Lagon. And one of my favorite quartet groups was Lee Williams, because of the fact that this guy by the name of Kerry Douglas introduced me to Lee Williams over at St. Agnes Church during the time that they had this big concert called the Mississippi Burning.
Oh yes.
Now, on that concert, you had Evelyn Turrentine AG, the Williams Brothers, Slim and the Supreme Angels, Canton Spirituals, Lee Williams, and Doc McKenzie. That thing was loaded. I mean, it was packed. And what impressed me so much about the quartets was that whenever I would go to quartet night at GMWA, which was normally on a Wednesday or Thursday night, it would be full of people. I mean, packed with people. I saw Evelyn Turrentine AG. She was sick as she could be. I mean, just sinus trouble. Get up there and sang like wasn't nothing wrong.
Wow.
And that's one of the things that made me really love gospel music. And then I went through a dark period. You know, my wife passed away.
I'm sorry.
And then my son committed suicide right behind that.
Oh my God.
And the only thing I had, Paulette, was the Bible and gospel music. And I thank God for people like Rance Allen, Donnie McClurkin, Marvin Sapp. They all pulled me through.
Yes. Those songs never would have made it.
No.
Something about the name Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, we all have gone through a dark period in our lives. But it's just amazing that if we did not have the gospel of Jesus Christ, and if we didn't have good gospel inspirational music, we would not, none of us would have made it.
No.
I wake up in the morning with my gospel music. I go to bed with my gospel music. And now the industry have changed.
Yes, it has.
You know,
Yes, it
everything
has.
in gospel music have changed. You
Yeah.
know, everything now, you know, a long time ago, you know, everything now is digital radio tracking, and it's a media base. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I got introduced to media base by thumbing through my phone one day. And I have a friend of mine named Tracy Artis. She has a company called I Hear Music in the Air.
I'm
She the
familiar
one
with
that
her.
told me about media base. She said, check media base. and I start following it. Now the digital thing, I haven't really, caught on to that yet, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to help you out with that. I got someone I'm going to introduce you to.
Okay.
And you're going to actually get a free consultation.
Okay.
And you're going to learn about digital radio tracking.
Mm-hmm.
It has literally blown me away because the Lord have blessed me to work for Musgrove International Distribution Company.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I've been able to help some record labels to get signed with the distribution deal through Musgrove, and many of them was absolutely appalled because their artists had never been verified.
Right.
And so many gospel artists in the industry, unfortunately, have met shady tree people.
Right.
And when I say shady people, they're paying people to do things that cannot get anything done. And all they've done is taken these artists' money and have told them that they could do this, that, and the other. But if you work an artist for so many years, a year, and the artist is giving you $2,000-$3,000 a month, and that artist have not been verified, and their music is not set up properly, then guess what? That artist is spinning their wheels.
Right.
And so I'm a gospel artist, and I've been burned before in the past. And so now I have learned the industry, and I'm still learning, and there's still a lot more that I need to learn. I don't know everything. So I'm willing to go to take these classes that BET have to offer. I'm willing to take these classes that the Stellas have to offer. And I'm willing to learn things behind the scene. I'm hungry. It's just like you hungry for the word. You're hungry for the Bible. I'm hungry to learn the different things that makes an artist be profound in their ministry called gospel music. For so many years, the gospel singer have been singing for chicken dinners.
Yeah.
They sang for a chicken dinner, and it's so sad that a gospel artist have written a song, and they've written the music, and they've done things, but they don't have anything. They don't know. Their music have been taken from them. They've been stolen by record labels. People have lied to them, and their music is not set up properly.
Right.
So now I'm learning, and I'm willing to learn how to have the music. My stuff is set up properly now. It's a pleasure to be able. I looked at my Spotify account this morning. I have a new song out that's called Hold On, and I have 60,000 people who've purchased the song already, and it's only been out like maybe a month.
That's good.
60,000. So I wrote it. So because I wrote it, then I'm compensated for that. And that's what I want for every gospel artist that's out there. If you've written your music, you know how much money it costs me as an independent artist to get a producer. I don't get tracks like tracks that sound like it come out of the bathroom. I spend $2,000-$3,000 on a track to make it industry ready. Okay, and so that's what gospel people do in the gospel music industry. And it's so sad because even some artists that I've met, they go, oh, well, I'm with this, I'm with that. And they don't even understand that some of the things that they register with, you can be with them, but if you're not being paid on them, then
true.
Everything is in vain. So who's actually getting paid is CD Baby, is Amazon, is this person and that person, because your stuff have not been placed in its proper perspective, and you've not been verified, and so what have happened is you've been misled.
Right.
And so now we're trying to, as a OG in this thing, because I'm an OG. I might not look it, but I'm an OG. I'm 2 years from 60. As an OG in this thing, I'm learning, and I want to learn. I'm hungry. Just like we get hungry for the word, I'm hungry to learn what the industry have to offer. And so, and I know you're hungry too.
Yes.
Because the type of business that you're in the business of helps.
Right.
So you want to be able to lead people and direct them in the right direction. Am I right about it?
That's right. Many times I run into local artists, and they want to know, well, why my CD is not being played, and I have to tell them, first of all, you have to get it copywritten. You got to have a music company and all of that, because when they ascertain to find out who played that record and all that. You don't have to do that no more
No.
because that digital thing will tell you.
Of course.
But then
and they
you
have no artists don't know anything about. They don't know about sound exchange.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know about the IRSC coding.
Mm-hmm.
They know absolutely nothing. And then you know what I've learned since I've been working with Mr. Musgrove. This has really blown me away. You have artists who've been singing for years and years and years,
Mm-hmm.
and they have all these people that used to work for record labels working their song, telling them that their song is on BDS or is on Media Base, and it's made up charts.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what they say.
Right.
And so this, Mr. Musgrove have the entire system. He can look right in there and tell exactly where you are. I have artists that have told me, I have a distribution deal with Sony Records. Well, and when he looking, there's nothing there. So we have to stop believing stuff that people tell us, and we have to make sure our music is verified, and we have everything in its right perspective. Because if we don't do it, then we're going to keep spinning our wheels, keep spending money, and nothing is going to happen. So this is the first time in many, many years that I finally got it right. It took this long for me to get it right. I was with people who sold my music to Amazon, sold it to Jeff Bezos, and made big time money off me, and I knew nothing about it. And I found out it later in my older years, and then I was able to get a lawyer to find out that they falsified my signature. We have to get our business in order.
Right.
So I don't want to just bring up old memories about your son, but I tell you to look at you and to see that you've been out through all of that, and God have kept you. He have absolutely kept you. So you've remarried, correct? Amen.
I would say it was my faith in God, and then I have to say that my pastor, Bishop Leroy J. Woodard, has been very supportive, of me, as I do the announcements at the church. I'm the church announcer, and he lets me do the church announcements. And
What's the name of that church?
the City Cathedral Church.
Oh, wow. Where's that located?
It's right here on Furnace Road.
On Furnace Road.
Sheila Jackson Lee was there Sunday. She announced that she was running for mayor.
I'm so
of
happy
Houston
about that.
from our
Yes,
church.
yes, wow.
Yeah. I would say that I spend a lot of time by myself. I'm a loner by choice.
I am too.
So I
I don't
spend
know
a lot
about you, but I love being alone.
I don't have no problem with it. I spend a lot of time whenever I walk through the park, I'm talking to God. Whenever I ride my bicycle, I'm talking to God. And we talk all the time, all the time. I don't have a lot of friends that I can really get on the phone and talk to, but I can talk to God
Yes, Lord.
at any given moment. When I went through my dark period, I didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't think I was going to make it. But then God, he put all these people in my way, especially Rance Allen.
Wow.
Yes, especially Rance Allen. And Dr. Bobby Jones.
Yes. Good man. Very, very good man. Never changed.
No.
I've been on his show many times, and each time I've gone on Dr. Bobby Jones' show. As a matter of fact, I've interviewed him on my radio show.
Okay.
He and Everett Drake many times.
Yeah.
But never, ever change.
No.
And when you meet people such as he, you learn how to remain humble. And you also learn that everything you do is not about you.
Yeah.
It's all about him.
I met him. I was very angry. I went to this workshop, and they didn't have my registration together. And I was angry. And Bobby came up to me. He said, have you ever been to the Stellas? I said, no, Bobby. He said, well, you get in touch with Don Jackson, and you go to the Stella Awards. And from that point on, I always attended the Stella Awards.
Yes.
And Bobby's such a beautiful person. He's very beautiful.
He is. Yes, he is. And he's an OG. He's hung in there down through the years. He's gone through his trials too.
Yep.
But he is still relevant. And he done so. In my last interview with him, we talked about all the different people that he helped bring them there. And some of them have nerve enough to have forgotten about him. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But he still is, he still planted those seeds. He pushed those people into their purpose. And he said it doesn't matter what they've done and how they walked away, but he knows, and God knows exactly what he's done.
Yeah.
That's what's very, very important.
Yeah.
If there was anything that you, Dr. Ricky Williams, can change about gospel music, what would you change?
Really and truly, Paulette, I wouldn't change anything, because the way the gospel music is going now, they're reaching the young people. They're really reaching out there for the young people, and that's who we need to win the most.
The young
You know,
people.
the traditional gospel has its place, but this new contemporary and the CCM stuff, that's what's reaching those young people.
Yes.
You know, I found that to be true some years ago, and that's why I try to listen to the radio as much as possible and try to stay relevant. I don't want to get to a place to where I get hung in a hole and I can't, you know, evolve or move around. You know, I want to know everything about the gospel that I can, because what we do, we go into cracks and crevices that the preachers can't get into.
Oh, yes.
You know, as far as radio people, we can go into those cracks and crevices. Donnie McClurkin told me that. You know,
Oh,
he
yes.
said, yeah, he said, man, you on the radio every Sunday 4 hours. He said, man, you can go places we can't go.
Oh, yes.
So, you know, and I try to stay level with that and not let it go to my head.
You're right.
Yeah.
If there was anything that you can say to a young artist who is just starting out, what would you say to them that will help them get to the next level?
I would tell them to learn all they can about the business. See, anybody can sing, but know about the business end of it. You know, handling your money, you know, your copyrights, and, you know, keeping your songs
Coded.
coded and relevant. You know,
And many artists don't even know about Sound Exchange.
no, well, see, being able to sing is one thing, but
learning
the business end of
is
it.
something totally
You
different.
know, that's why I always admired James Brown. They said James Brown was crazy, but James Brown controlled all of his music. You know, his whole James Brown, Sam Cooke, Ray Charles.
Michael
Them the
Jackson.
only three people. Well, Michael Jackson, but those back in the day, the only three people that really controlled their music and owned their music: Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, James Brown. And when they sampled James, they had to pay him.
Wow.
Yeah, because somehow or another, it's a likeness. If they use your likeness, they still got to pay you.
Oh, yes.
That's what happened with the Marvin Gaye song. You know, the guy tried to tell me, well, it don't sound like Got to Give It Up. Yeah, but they used the likeness, and it cost them $7 million.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, that's some great advice to you, a gospel artist who's just making it. That's wonderful advice that Dr. Williams can give to you to learn the business. Dr. Williams, we had a marvelous time on March 18. I did a concert in New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans. I am New Orleans' own, actually.
Okay.
I worked the House of Blues there for 25 years. I've traveled, been to Rome, Italy, Sicily, Brescia, Milano, Belgium, sung for the Pope in Rome, sang in South Africa, Germany. Right there, branded in New Orleans. And I did a coming home concert on my new CD that's called Hold On,
Okay.
a single that I've just done. As I said earlier, we do have 60,000 views with less than 3 weeks. And so the concert was a sellout. I want to say thank you, New Orleans, for being there for me. And it was overwhelming love. We had a crowd of white people as well as black people. We had the news media involved, all of the radio stations in New Orleans. And it just felt so good to be home. Now, you know about New Orleans because you once lived there.
Yeah, I lived there back
And you
in
worked for
WBOK.
WBOK, right? WBOK is still holding strong. I don't know if it is as powerful as it was back then.
Yeah, it was on Canal Street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
As a matter of fact, in the building, there was a window. You could look out on the street and see the people passing by.
oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. So they've changed that building now.
Oh, they have?
Yes, they're in another location. I can't remember where.
Yeah.
But
I hadn't been there in a long time.
oh yes,
Yeah,
but it was so good.
Me, Bobby Earl, Ernie Singleton. I think Larry McKinley was over at WYOD.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
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 Larry McKinley.
Yeah, I was there when
I
Frankie.
remember him when I was a little bitty girl.
Oh my God.
And not only that, Walter Ross.
What about Where Out Pope, Shirley Pope?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, you're bringing us way back. Wow.
I had fun in New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was there the night that Frankie Beverly recorded the live album at the Sanger Theater.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to be home. The food was absolutely phenomenal.
Always.
And I ate so much shrimp, I think I broke out in an itch. Because I'm a shrimp and crawfish lover.
Okay.
It was just such a blessing to be home. But it was also a pleasure to get back here to Houston too.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I'm just this whole thing that I do with gospel music, with the TV show and the radio show, is really to help celebrate people like you. My whole thing in life is, and I thought about this when I did the show in New Orleans. People were screaming, "I love you." People were screaming, "Come home." People were screaming, "I'm glad to see you here. I'm glad you came back." You know, I cried after the show, I cried during the show, I cried when I got home, and even when I thought about it, because we need to learn to give people their flowers while they can smell
Right.
them and listen to
Right.
them, not when they're dead and gone and say what they say. So I had all of these accolades from every genre of race. Everybody was talking, and so I was able to get the flowers while I can literally smell them and see them.
Right.
And
right.
so I thank God for that. We want to give you your flowers too,
Thank you.
while
Thank
you can smell them. We
Thank
don't
you.
want to talk about you when you laid up or and say, you know, Dr. Williams did this and did that. We want to talk about you now. We want the world to hear the good news of Jesus Christ and to hear all of the great things that you're doing. Now, you do interview artists through KTSU, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And tell us some
When-
of the
whenever
other
my
things that you
schedule
do.
would permit me, I mean, I have so much going on, you know, with my own little company where I do gospel music consulting. You know, sometimes I get a chance to do interviews, but I leave that for the other announcers to do.
Right.
You know, because I've done the interviews. I like to do them on social media. I like to
Yes.
do them kind of interviews.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys. We had in the house with us. We have none other than Dr. Ricky Williams. He's with KTSU. He told you the number of years that he have been in the radio industry. If the people would like to reach you for to play their music or to do gospel music consulting, can you give them a phone number and how they can reach you?
They can reach me at 713-382-5590, or they can get me on email at rickykwilliams407@gmail.com.
All right, you heard that, huh? Now listen, if any of you decide that you want to be a blessing and sow a seed in his ministry, he's going to give you his cell phone number, and you could cash up him a little something. You know, as we working in the gospel, people don't want to bless us sometimes. They just want to give us a chicken dinner and a hot dog and say, see, you don't want to be here. How can they reach you? How could they reach you? Give them your phone number.
They can reach me at 713-382-5590. And they could go to my email address, which is rickykwilliams407@gmail.com.
And you're on every social media outlet, is that correct?
I'm on
you're
basically
on Facebook.
Facebook,
You're on
and I
Facebook.
do a little bit of Instagram. I don't have a Twitter account or nothing like that.
Okay, well that's good because Facebook and Instagram is a powerful entity to get the word out, to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Again, before we end this show, is there anything else that you would like to say?
I just want to tell you to keep on doing what you do,
Thank you.
and you're doing a marvelous job, and you have a great record.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know, I'm gonna tell you something that means a lot to me.
Well,
The Bible said, "Don't let your good be overspoken of."
that's right.
And not only that, your name is very important.
Yes, it is.
There are people who will try to assassinate your character, but they can't. But you see, your name, it carries a great weight, and it also carries integrity
Right.
as you're walking through the journey of success. So,
Well, I was always told by my mentor Rick Roberts to always try to help somebody and always encourage, you know, because that little bit of encouragement will push that person on, and that's what I try to do.
yes, that's very, very, very important to always to encourage someone. So what's next for you? What's next? What are your next things? I know you got a lot of great things coming up soon.
Well, I'm looking at probably doing an internet radio show or something like that, and bringing on a young lady that I brought along sometime back. Her name is Glenda Jackson, Gigi Jackson. I was looking at probably doing a internet radio, internet TV show, with her.
That'd be great.
Yeah, where we bring in the artists and talk with them and all of that.
That would be absolutely something
Yeah.
wonderful. I'll talk to you about that after we finish.
All
Okay.
right. All right.
All right. So listen, guys. Again, I want to say thank you for being a part of the Powerful Praise of Broadcasting Network, and we have none other with us but the legend himself, Dr. Ricky Williams. I know he wasn't expecting these high accolades, but he is no stranger to gospel music. He worked for KTSU for a number of years, and one thing we always want to do, we always want to pay special homage to people who have endured the race in gospel music. Again, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you, and we say God bless you, and see you next time for our next TV show. We are inspired today. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.